Hello, viewers. I'm Vibhuti Jha. This is Jaipur Dialogue USA. Welcome to the show. I'm back after a little while with my good recovery that I shared with you, and I want to thank all of you who prayed for my early recovery. Thank you so much. So please like, subscribe, and support our channel. Give your feedback. Today is Wednesday, and three events that are happening in America, particularly, and that's where I'm talking about, which has global implications. It is related to the global implication of it all, are Elon Musk regrets for his very boisterous tweets against Mr. Trump. And he said he regrets that he was too abrasive. He went over with reference to some of the tweets that he mentioned. Critical to note, regret does not mean he apologizes or said sorry. I regret happening some. English is a very funny language. You might say something, I regret it, but were you sorry for it? Regret only means that I screwed up. That's what it means in the translation of the bhav, of the intent. I went overboard. I needn't have done that, which means that I could have stayed within limits and yet said the same thing. So he crossed the breaking point in the relationship between the two. What is important here is that he made a public statement. Give him credit for that. And I said that he's a genius, a fantastic innovator, entrepreneur. He was not a politician. The reasons for which he began to support Trump, despite being a former Democrat, was for America's welfare. But my theory always holds true. And I want to share that again. I say that I believe smart people make dumb mistakes, and smarter people make even dumber mistakes. This is something that you must bear in mind about an issue or the statement that you want to issue. Think for a 5 seconds. Do I need to say that? You will save yourself significant amount of embarrassment. I did, okay? Because we are all emotional people, and we react a little more emotion than necessary. But if you take that 5 second breath, deep breath, your response changes because you achieve an instant equilibrium in your own body. That's what is important. So Musk is such a brilliant man. Nobody can take away his brilliance from him. Even he made the fatal mistake of letting emotion drive his actions or words. And as I always say to you, words matter. It is said, right? So bad words breaks the glass, and once the glass breaks, you cannot ever fix it back again. That's what is important here to bear in mind. Musk went overboard. Now he's saying he's not apologized yet, but I applaud him for saying in public with millions of people responding to him, thank you for saying you regret. But nobody is demanding an apology yet, nor is he offering an apology yet. So this is what is important for us to know. What does Musk's regret is all about? You know, and I know, data is available. His prime company, Tesla, its stocks fell dramatically. He lost significant wealth for his extravagant choice of words. And as I say, words matter. Words change minds, and minds move mountains. Remember that. That's what authors, filmmakers, poets, motivational people do to us. We love the words they say in a context in which that inspires us to do something or not to do something. So I applaud him for regretting public confession. But the question is, when will the regret come? And what happens next? Are you saying this to mend your ways back with Mr. Trump? Because something got damaged permanently. The trust element got completely damaged. Because how can I trust the person again? This also makes us feel, can we allow a Prithviraj Chauhan mentality to come in forgive him, forget him. But there is a very interesting distinction that one Guruji told me. Don't do both. What was he referring to? Don't forget and don't and also forgive. What happens in this process? Either do forgive or forget. Don't do both. Because when you forgive or forget, the the event, incident, words remain in your mind. This is a very important element in your Shatru Bodh and Purva Paksh. Then you will know that if he has done it once, he is quite capable of doing it again. Therefore, you will prevent any disaster happening to you in relation to anybody. That's what is important. Second part is the Los Angeles city is burning. I have lived in Los Angeles. My first encounter when I landed in 91, there was the Rodney King riots happened there, if you remember. Rodney King was a black person who was mercilessly beaten by the cops for violating the a chase and not stopping when the police told him. The beating was truly remarkable. Very, very sad. You cannot defend that. The police cannot defend that because that was also done in a very surcharged emotional element, which the police justified by saying that if we had not done that to him, teach him a lesson, because we are also emotional people. The amount of damage that he could have done to public property and lives around for the way he was driving could have been very disastrous. So he had to be taught a lesson. But LA burnt at that time. There is something very interesting about Los Angeles and New York, my city, current city now. Looting and rampage the way people go on. That's what is happening in Los Angeles. The governor of California is such a blue state and such a woke state that they give a home to every lawbreaker. I would use the word lawbreaker, illegal immigrants, criminals, because they are all alleged criminals, not proven. This is where the democratic principles get tested in a very negative and a severe way. Remember in India, when 26/11 happened, there was one terrorist who was killing around with his AK-47, going around town in Bombay, in Mumbai. He was nabbed. To prove him guilty, the democratic legal system in India took 3 years. 3 years. That's where it is important for you and I to know that if it takes 3 years to prove a person guilty who is caught on video, who is seen on video, and you have enough evidence available, how he did it, visual evidence available, yet it took 3 years to prove. That's what the criminals take advantage of the law, the legal system. Los Angeles, to prevent Los Angeles from becoming what it is, the amount of violence, the looting, the liberal states made laws. Remember that. They made laws that up to $900 if you steal, nothing will happen to you. And there were arguments given that these people can't afford what you call the bail, so they are just put in jail until the trial comes. So let them go. Forgetting, they go out and they do it again. The law enforcement has dossiers on them, but they can't be tried because the law now says, oh, it is not a chargeable offense, it's not a felony, it's a misdemeanor. Let them go. So Los Angeles, a brilliant city, a lovely city, and I've lived there for 3 years. I've lived in California for 3 years, is really burning. But very important part to bear in mind, this is not an isolated incident. This is part of a plot and a plan to weaken democracy. What is happening in America is a lesson learned from India. The multiple Shaheen Baghs are happening. At that time, here Mr. Trump has taken a strong action of moving National Guards to support police who are feeling helpless to nab them. National Guard and then Marines were sent in, and Trump is saying, I'm going to send out every single illegal person, criminals particularly. criminals, and they are high-ranking people, violent people who I will deport immediately. But the Congress people, the California politicians, are somewhere very endeared to them. They want to give them the right to be tried domestically, even though they are illegal. They broke the law to come in the country, but the justice system operates in a very different way. They had to be tried and proven guilty. Guess what? They will be let out in no time because the law again makes it very minor offense, and they will be in jail or told to do community service, and they go out. So Los Angeles is burning, but important part, Governor Newsom made a dangerous statement yesterday, which I heard it myself, in which he said that California is not the first and the last. These protests will go around the country. And you know that more than 20 million people who broke the law came in hordes into United States during Biden term. These people are, maybe I do not know them personally, so I can't say they are good or bad people. There are many criminal elements have come in. That's an established fact. Many people with terrorist links have come in. That's an established fact. Many people with drug-related activities have come in. That's an established fact. As the saying goes, the thugs, criminals, and other antisocial elements take advantage of the compassion of the society and the rule of law. That is the problem. And Mr. Trump has made the campaign promise. I've been telling you, I'm an immigrant, but I'm sick and tired of the way the illegality of the immigration policies of the government of the United States in the last 4 years has led to significantly affecting the life of people. You may think that I'm not affected, so I'm all right. But you are now exposed to and you are vulnerable to something happening to you. And that's what is dangerous. So Los Angeles burning is going across the country. Mr. Trump has a serious issue on hand, how to control and how to curb it. With half the political party, the other half is not cooperating with you. On the contrary, forget about cooperating. They are trying to make your policy fail. They are trying to sabotage. And it's almost, terrorizing in its own way when so many Democrat politicians are saying, oh, this is just a party and a picnic. Nancy Pelosi, the former speaker, who lamented January 6th that happened in Washington, D.C., is talking about when the mass group of people get together, or they will burn a car or they will loot something, as if it is a normal thing to do. This is a former speaker of Democratic Party in the House, who is currently a congressperson, is making a statement like that. And there are many like that. I mean, I don't have to repeat here all of it, but that's remarkably, sad and unfortunate for a country that prides itself in saying we are a nation of laws, which has descended into lawlessness of a very bizarre kind. The third element that I wanted to talk to you about, the FBI foiled a terror plot. FBI Director Mr. Kash Patel issued a tweet in which he said that a Pakistani guy in Canada was nabbed and he has been extradited to United States to face US laws. Again, back to law again here. FBI and the US government have foiled many significant efforts done to cause terrorist plots in New York City that we all know. We know that there several attacks happen. Important part here is there's only one, and I'm going to say this to Mr. Kash Patel soon after this call is over, this show is over, is that if you are so concerned about rule of law and protecting American citizens, catching one person, one Pakistani in Canada doesn't solve your problem. What you did was a Herculean effort to nab that person with evidence. Why it is important? You just cut a tiny leaf on the tree that is nursing these terrorist activities. You are not doing something to remove the tree itself from its roots. And to that end, it's very significant to note that Muslim Brotherhood, that is responsible for spreading hate, terror, and violence in America, their people are openly talking about it. They are nothing is happening to them. They are a legal entity in America as an NGO. Whereas Muslim Brotherhood has been banned in UAE, Saudi Arabia, and several other Middle East countries. And they are allies of America. So is America, I'm asking this question as an American, and I'm going to send this message to Mr. Kash Patel as well, that if you are indeed serious about attending to the crisis of terrorism, especially Islamic terrorism, why aren't you addressing the root cause? Because that's where the problem lies. One person caught and the trial will go on for several years now, doesn't matter. Because those people who are doing it, they don't give a damn about the law. They're prepared to be caught. They consider themselves martyrs. They are fighting for their own belief. Now, this is the final thing that I wanted to say today. That in my 2020 conversation on Jaipur Dialogue with Sanjay Dixit ji, I had mentioned that the caravan of woke army will try to destabilize the two most prominent democracies of the world, United States and India. Two people are standing in the way of the woke army. One is Donald Trump, the other is Narendra Modi. These two people are standing firm that terrorism will not be allowed to destroy the countries and the world around us. These are the only two people. If you look around, rest of the world has kind of fallen to them. It's happening in Europe, you can see that. You can see in Canada. You can see everywhere else. Terrorism is gaining momentum in the name of freedom of religion and the rule of law. How tragic is that? So these people are marching towards these two countries. What is indeed terribly sad is that how Mr. Trump has succumbed or given in to the Pakistani shenanigans that have happened. India's superb response to the Pahalgam killings totally took Pakistan by surprise. They did not expect that India would hit back so hard. Whole lot of stories out in the open. I'm not going to relate it here. But important part is that people level, at your and my level, have we learned any lesson? Have we learned any lesson that unless and until you hit at the root cause, the trees and the plants will keep growing. That will not end. So, ladies and gentlemen, very important three things that I talked to you about. At the root of it, you and I will have to fight back as individuals, taking help of the government, asking the government to do something, right? This is what is important. As I always say, Satyameva Jayate, for truth to triumph, you and I have to fight back. Thank you very much for watching today. Please like, subscribe, and support our channel. We'll talk to you again very soon.